Good evening, Gorb. Good afternoon, Saturn. Today's Friday, and I've got something to talk about. First of all, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the Lack of Intellect YouTube account. Me, Saturn, and Gorb decided that it might have been time for us to do something content-wise together on a bit more of a consistent basis. And because we, sadly, due to living far apart from one another, or due to Gorb, having a social life, we don't always have the luxury of talking to each other as much. So what we decided to do is take a page out of Vlogbrothers' book and make a channel where each of us uploads a video once a week. Just one video. Very low effort, very low editing, just us talking about anything we want to talk about. It could be something that happened in our lives that day, it could be something that we've been thinking about that specific week, or it could be something completely unrelated, just something that we want to talk about. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised if Saturn uploads a 10-second PvP clip at some point, because he just is lazy and doesn't want to do anything else. But that being said, I'll try to keep this video short, so I'll dive into exactly what it is I want to talk about. And it's a very easy topic. Privilege. So, earlier today, I was, on my way back from a place I had to go to for a bit, and I came home and Mom was there. I sat down next to her, and I was talking to her about, how I got a sandwich on the way home. It was a good sandwich, by the way. And it was an egg bacon sandwich. I told her it was €4 for an egg bacon sandwich. And then she looked at me and was like, yeah, that sounds about right. I was like, does it? It doesn't to me. Eggs are like €1.50 at most, are they not? And then Mom said, no, they're like $4. And I'm like, what do you mean they're like $4? And then she explained to me that the eggs at the supermarket, which is usually the place that these companies who, make sandwiches for you, and I guess it was a bakery, they usually get their ingredients from supermarkets here. So, the egg prices, funnily enough, with the whole America thing, we're talking about egg prices here today as well. The egg prices would have to be calculated to that as well. And then I asked my mom, then why do I have the distinct memory that eggs aren't expensive? And she told me, because they aren't. Because we live in a village, a farmer's village. Not even 200 meters removed from my house, there is a dispensary where you can put in, let's say, about €2 and get like 15 eggs out of it. And I realized to myself in that moment, for the first time in quite a bit, that I'm incredibly privileged. I mean, obviously, I am privileged, right? I'm a guy, I'm white, I have it really fucking easy compared to different people, specifically minorities in the world. This much I was already aware of. However, the part where I was thinking of the place in the world where I live, I didn't think of yet. I only realized after that moment how incredibly easy I've had it. The pandemic here, yeah, of course it was a thing, but we had it really easy. We don't live in a city where your neighbors are next door, literally through plywood. No, we have an entire house separating one another. So we had more space. If I wanted to go outside, I had a garden to go to. There's people in the city who during the pandemic couldn't even leave their house because of the rules. And I never had that problem. So it just struck me funny that after, all of the progression I've gone through in the last couple of years and realizing how and what my position in the world is, that I never considered my location or the place where I live to be one of my many privileges. I thought to myself, oh wow, yeah, I really do have it easy. I can go to the store right now. There's 2 supermarkets in my town, and I can go to any of them almost whenever I choose to. We have a bakery, we have a butcher. We have everything we really need. Sure, amenities-wise, you'd prefer to live in a city, but that's luxury, and not life sustenance. And and that is what all of those other things are. And I don't know, something just kind of clicked in me. Like, I know for a fact that Gorb, going to university and having moved out, he lives in a city. If the pandemic were to happen right now, Gorb would probably be in a very bad position. And I wouldn't be. I'd be fine. And even then, the price of that sandwich that is $4 here, it probably is $6 in a city somewhere because of how... Well, because of how money works, because of how the supply and demand works, because of how shit is just more expensive outwards. And it gets even better than that. I live right next to the German border in this town. Please, for the love of God, don't try to figure out what town I live in, but I live relatively close to the German border. And you might wonder, well, can't you, why is that important? Let me tell you why that's important. The Germans are in a position where their country is relatively cheaper compared to ours. They're a lot bigger of a nation. Housing is less of a problem there. They just have it a little bit easier on those aspects. Again, I'm not saying they have it easier overall. Everyone has their own struggles. But on that front, they definitely have it easier than us. For example, another thing that is incredibly cheap in Germany that isn't cheap in the Netherlands is gas. Or groceries. My mom does groceries in Germany like pretty much once a week. And I never considered that, you know, people living in The Hague or Amsterdam, they can't do that. Or England or America. You guys have to cross full-on borders or, you know, leave an island to go to another country. I can just get into a bus and in 20 minutes time, I'll be in Germany. Or get on a train in Amsterdam and in a couple hours time, I'll be in Paris or London. I never thought to myself how incredibly lucky I am to live where I do. I used to think that where I lived was relatively bad for me. I wouldn't say that I fit into the demographic of the people that live here. You know, I'm not a Christian, and many other things. It's a small town, so, you know, the stigmas and the dogmas that come with that are all a thing. You know, if my dad is in the garden working on a Sunday, he'll get a couple weird looks, even though we're not Christian. Like, it's that type of stuff. But if I had to give that up for all of the benefits that come with living in a town, I'd instantly make that call. I love living here, and I never really thought to myself how privileged I truly am. I just ate shit. How privileged I truly am to actually live in this place. I don't know. I just thought I wanted to get that off my chest. I never thought that Gorb, you for example, living in this specific location on this address, living in a city, and Saturn living so close to a city, you guys might have it a lot more difficult than I have on those aspects, and I never even stopped to consider it. Yeah, that's kind of really all I wanted to talk about for today. I hope that the channel introduction is clear to everyone. If there's any questions, you can leave a comment, I might reply. But yeah, that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about. So, without further ado, Saturn, I'll see you Sunday. Gorb, I'll see you Tuesday. And viewers, I'll see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.